Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Wileke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. We have Barrister Austin Manta, a very, very senior legal practitioner, our senior, let me say, very, very senior legal analyst, sorry, not legal, yeah, legal analyst and public and current affairs analyst as well. He's very, very good at that. Barrister, thank you once again for joining us today.
To be on your show.
Yes, we shall be talking about several topics with Barrister Manta this day. We know what happened. There was a breaking news earlier in the week. That was the first day, I think that was on Sunday, beginning of the week. So we will be talking about, I think that will be our starting point. Thereafter, we have several other topics we'll be talking about. We'll be expanding on other topics. And I hope you will be just be with us and enjoy the show. That's basically that's it. All right, Barrister, let's start with the death of General Muhammad Buhari, former President Muhammad Buhari. I want to ask, what is your opinion? What's your take on it? We had earlier, in fact, when the thing broke, just barely minutes when I got the notification, barely minutes when he passed away. After he passed away, then I did a monologue. And that monologue, honestly, I was very, very emotional about that. I just poured out my frustrations and everything that I got inside of me against Buhari. And surprisingly, I didn't expect Nigerians to be very, very raw. You know, we African, not African, generally, it's even global. It's a global thing. So generally, the people don't like to speak. It's like a taboo to speak against the dead. A sort of, but in this, in Buhari's case, Nigerians didn't hold back. Overwhelming majority of Nigerians didn't hold back. Everybody poured out their emotions, their vex. In fact, it's evident that Buhari has really left a mark, a an indelible mark on Nigeria and Nigerians. What's your take on the death of Buhari? What, in your own opinion, in your own words, how will you, if the moment the name President Muhammad Buhari is mentioned to your ears, or you hear such name, from now onward, what will come to your mind? What will Buhari be remembered for in your own mind?
Well, my opinion of Buhari has never changed. I have always, I have not discounted his personal morality, so to speak, in comparison to other Nigerian leaders and other Nigerian politicians. But right from the word go, I could sense and I could see his clear lack of capacity to govern, to be in any serious administrative position, as contradistinguished from what people termed his personal strictness and integrity. Look, before he ventured into politics, this man had a godlike status, particularly in the North. People viewed him literally as a god. I remember back then when I had my office at Junction Road, and in the days that fuel queue were rampant, a lot of people parked on the queue in front of my office, and I was just walking. I saw some drivers arguing fiercely, and some of them were saying in Hausa that, say one about Allah, how. In other words, he was saying that until this man rules Nigeria, Nigeria will never be okay. He had that godlike status. People believed wholeheartedly in him that he would salvage the situation of Nigeria. In retrospect, I believe himself if he wanted, after he left the office, if he sat back and critically looked at himself, he would have regretted going into that politics. Because when he went into that politics, the adage that our people used to speak, that the wind has blown and we have seen the nyash of the fowl, became very evident. Everybody now saw him for who he is, for his complete lack of capacity. Now, he coming into politics, there were two principal issues that attracted people to him: his perceived lack of corrupt tendencies, and two, his military background and no-nonsense general, so to speak. And at that time, the two principal evils bedeviling Nigeria, corruption and insecurity. The insecurity then was principally because of Boko Haram. And people felt that Jonathan was weak on both on both scores, both the corruption score and the insecurity score. And people felt that General Buhari, with his integrity, his anti-corruption stand, and his military background and his no-nonsense approach, will be the perfect person to approach and handle these twin problems. Alas, his 8 years was more or less a total waste. In fact, not just a waste, a compounding of the problem, because where some part of the insurgency were not there, they all emerged. We didn't have issues of kidnapping. We didn't have all these Fulani herdsmen murdering left and right. It was solely a Boko Haram issue that we had as a security issue. Now we tripled or quadrupled insecurity issues under his rule, 8-year rule. Corruption was as rampant as it has ever been, if not more than before. So at the end of the day, he lost his reputation, he lost his integrity, he lost everything. Let me put it, he lost everything. And you can see, you need to just go to social. I'm amazed at the depth of hatred that the ordinary person in the North has expressed for Buhari. Just look a few years back, people were ready to die for him to be president. But look what is happening now. People are openly, in spite of our African culture, which is virtually a culture throughout the world that you don't speak ill of the dead. Nobody is holding back, let me tell you. Nobody, people are openly, even against threats of arrest, they are openly cursing him in his grave. They are openly praying that he should suffer in his grave. There's nothing people have not said. In the North, in particular. So it is such a strange thing that you come with a very good reputation and you die with an absolutely bad reputation or impression in the minds of the ordinary people. People are saying that this man, they contributed all through the North. People sent, he opened an account, he showed it to people on television that they should pay money into it to help him to contest. Throughout the North, millions of poor people put money in that account. Millions. They had hundreds of millions in that account. Some as much as 100 naira. People paid. And they felt that he was coming for the average poor man. But his 8 years did not impact the poor man. Rather, it made his condition worse. Everything became worse under him in those 8 years. So he is not beholden to the poor people whom he claimed to represent, who they thought he would stand for them. He didn't end up standing for them. So his story is a very sad story. I wouldn't want to be in that situation by the time of my death.
Honestly, you've said it all. I would not be, I can't, with what you have said so far, honestly, I don't think I'll be. For those of you who want to hear my opinion on this, just watch my monologue. I did a monologue, like I said, just few minutes after that the news broke. I did a very, very monologue and I didn't hold back. All right, Barrister, now, can I ask you, everybody, including myself, everybody have spoken everything that we have, all our comments and opinions about Buhari is completely 100% negative. Are we saying that there is nothing good we can remember Buhari for? Nothing. Is there anything positive? Is there anything positive that comes to your mind that you think this man, okay, this area, this man has really, he actually did well?
No. It is impossible to say that somebody who has ruled for 8 years do not have at least one or two positive things. There are some positives that can be attached to
What
him,
comes to your mind?
mainly in infrastructure, the construction of roads, the completion of some projects that were he inherited. If I look at the railways from Abuja to Kaduna, the reconstruction of the road from Kaduna to Kano, the Zaria to Kano portion has been finished. There are roads from Abuja to Makudima State. It was dualized and completed. There are roads and railways that was under construction. So in terms of infrastructure, to a certain degree, he had some successes, good successes. But even there's a question mark, because these were underwritten by loans from China and other institutions. And we are saying that you should not burden future generations with huge monumental loans, because you have a situation where you borrow money to construct a road that may not pay, the road may not be able to pay its loan and the interest. So the burden of paying that loan comes to the economy, comes to future generations. Buhari took loans, both local and international, and took us to a place of about 77 trillion naira in debt, put us about 77 trillion in debt in the guise of improving infrastructure. So while the roads and the railways are good, still in economic terms, we can say that it was a misapplication of priorities somehow. We would have preferred industries to be open, factories to be open, to give people employment and to generate income that will pay back those loans. We have huge deposit of minerals all over Nigeria. You can invest in those minerals, their extraction, their production, and their exportation, and they can pay back a loan, whatever loan you take. At the same time, provide sufficient employment, stabilize the economy, not to add debts.
All right, thank you so very much, Barrister. We are still on this because we need to expand. Buhari actually has left a mark, like I said, an indelible mark that deserves a very expansive negative time, or time negatively. All right, what an irony, for God's sake! This man that has everyone, vast majority of Nigerians, or rather overwhelming majority of Nigerians, have a very, very negative or very dark, or the darkest opinion of. And yet, the kind of honor that this government, TINUBU'S government, has given him, that is one. We are coming to the constitutional honor for all. I don't know. I would like to get your opinion about the constitutionality of so many benefits that comes with that actually goes with the death of a president, an ex-president, either sitting or ex-president. Now, look at the president physically attended. Now, President Bola Tinubu, rightfully so, physically attended his burial and met with his family, declared a public holiday. I don't know. Have we ever had a situation where, okay, when Shagari died and Ekweme died, nobody declared public holiday. These people were ex-presidents, sort of. And besides, these people actually, as weak as they were, as poor as their administration, as poor as the administration was, both of them, at least underperformed, underperformed negatively in comparison to Buhari. When I say underperform, it means that they outperformed Buhari positively. That's the implication. Yet nobody gave them such honor. So public holiday was declared in his honor, and a Federal Executive Council meeting was actually constituted in his honor as well. And they just renamed a university to immortalize him. I don't know. This is the one that is something that is outside the constitution. This is at the president's prerogative. Now, these are the specific honors from Tinubu. One will understand why Tinubu is doing that. It's for personal reasons. It's of course, for his own personal reasons. We know how he became president. So Buhari was very, very instrumental to that. First, comment on this, and I will come back to the other benefits that may be legal or not, constitutional or not constitutional, barrister. What an irony.
Exactly. But you have to understand that by virtue of political expediency, the Bola Tinubu administration had no choice but to go all out to do all these things. Perhaps in the vain hope that they will get the support of the North, not knowing that the North has left Buhari. I think when they look back and they see the comments and expression from the northern citizens, they would say, oh, if we had known that this man has lost so much support, we will not go all the way to do what we are doing. Tinubu, as of now, is suffering a backlash from the North. So he perceived this opportunity as something to go all out to show the North and show his support in the North. The drawback is that the North has already left Buhari. So he didn't understand that until the death of Buhari and the comments that he can read, even security reports that he can get, that, oh, the northern citizens no longer hold Buhari in that high esteem that he thought he could use to cash on for 2027. Now, secondly, Buhari, the honors done to Buhari contrast sharply with what he did to Shehu Shagari.
Yeah.
Shehu Shagari died when he was president. And he went there. He signed the register. He did not even say, Yoso, rest in peace. He just signed as Buhari. He signed the register with his name and left.
Wow.
There was no honors of any kind. No, what we are seeing today, we did not see it. So you can see the sharp contrast between the honor done to him and what he did to another ex-president. That is to show you the kind of person he is. But I believe that even Tinubu himself was doing it from altruistic reasons for the benefit of his own political ambition 2027 coming, because he knew that Buhari did not fully support him in 2023. Although at the end of the day, he did not block his presidency. He did not block him from becoming president. But if given the leeway, would have preferred somebody else, somebody other than him, other than Tinubu, to be the candidate of APC in 2023. But by political expediency, he had to go all out to show the North that yes, he is part of them, he likes them, he wants to do something for them, and peradventure get the support of people whom he believes are diehard supporters of President Buhari.
All right. Thank you so very much. Now, adding to that irony, let's come to possible constitutional benefits that accrues to the president or former president should any president die or whatever constitutionally. We say this is just part of the whatever we have. I know there is this amount that is paid to them annually, that is to their whatever. But okay, when they are alive, this one is the benefit that goes to their families when they die. I don't know. You are a lawyer. You should know far better than myself. 350,000 naira every month for his wife upkeep. This is for life. 250,000 naira every 3 months to support the children's education. 250,000 naira every 3 months as yearly allowance, free yearly allowance. That is for the wife. Free medical treatment in Nigeria and abroad. 3 government cars changed every 4 years. A fully furnished 5-bedroom house anywhere in Nigeria. 4 security officers, police and DSS. Paid vacation every year. Free staff for house and office work. 1 free government phone. Barrister, is all these things, are they true? And if they are true, are they constitutional?
Yes, those benefits are true and they are correct. Wow. And they don't need to be constitutional because the salaries and allowances that accrue to the president, to the vice president and public officials when they are in office, when they leave office and when they die are not constitutional issues, but they are statutory issues. Laws have been passed and the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission sets some of these salaries and allowances. The president, the vice president, the governors and the deputy governors, when they leave office, for as long as they are alive, they take their full salary and full allowances up to their death. But when they die, this portion of the allowances goes to their families also for life. That is the statutory requirements. They are all legal. I, for one, would not have much quarrel with that. But the purpose has always been to make these people as comfortable as possible in their retirement and even in their death, to dissuade them from
corruption,
stealing,
yes,
stealing from the public and misusing public funds. But you and me know that in real life, in truth, that purpose has long been defeated. They look at this thing as virtually peanuts in comparison to what they actually get. When you look at people like Babangida, you look at Abdul Salami and the rest, tell me, these things are peanuts to what they made as presidents or head of states when they were in power. So it will mean nothing to them, but they collect it. But the original aim was to give them, make them as comfortable as possible, so that if your mind is not tuned to corruption, you will feel satisfied with this thing when you are no longer the president. And even when you die, you will have the comfort and knowledge that your family that you left behind will live a comfortable life. But again, in Nigeria, can you say that that amount represents any comfortable life for a family, particularly the family of head of state?
Of course not. All right. Thank you so very much.